Hello and welcome to, I don't know how to call this series. It's going to be a new series and it's not going to be a series at all. It's going to be called Star Talk. No, Neil fucking deGrasse Tyson has Star Talk. I don't know. So basically, I had my friend talk to me for the past like 3 hours. I'm going to cut up a shorter segment of that video. And we were talking about like Star Citizen, Star Atlas, the NFTs, blockchains, cryptocurrencies, and gaming in general, and how NFTs and cryptocurrencies can help, but they could help potentially gaming, but will they? And it's a pretty good talk, and I hope you like it. So I'm just gonna roll the intro, and let's talk about it.
Hello, my name is Grumpy. Grumpy,
Okay, so please introduce yourself to the community.
My name is Marko Nikolic, but I'm probably better known as Pablo Chacon, which I have a lot of artwork online under that name. I own my own studio. I'm from Serbia, and I used to do some game development. I do a lot of CGI, 3D modeling, so I have a lot of background knowledge in both polys and NURBS. I've also done bigger projects that include cryptocurrencies. I'm also doing research now on that, heavily into NFTs. I'm a heavy gamer in my off time, which I don't have a lot of, but I do like to game a lot. And I'm probably all around in the art space, but I'm most known in my professional world with my marketing skills, working for larger companies and being outsourced by large marketing agencies around the world.
All right, nice. So you mentioned that you're an avid gamer. So which games do you play?
Currently, it's Minecraft with my girlfriend, but I used to play a lot of Call of Duty Warzone with my friends. I'm a what you call a grinder, so I like any game that has like achievements in it. It probably all started since I was a kid, from Sega to Nintendo, from Sonic to WWE on Sega, all the way through RuneScape. I spent my first internet dollars when I was like, 10 or 11 years old. RuneScape, got my mom's credit card and bought a magic hat or whatever it was. So I grinded RuneScape for like 2 to 3 years, and I grinded WoW for probably 2 years. Then I had my first taste of making money from gaming, which was selling my World of Warcraft account for, I think it was 450 euros back when I was in like 8th grade.
Nice.
So pretty young, I can't remember exactly what age, but that was my first taste of it, and I was mind blown by the possibility of playing games and earning from them. So I went through that whole phase, then stopped gaming for a while I built a few of my businesses, and got back to gaming probably 2 years ago with a lot of titles on my PS4, everything from Firewatch, Detroit Become Human, all the story-based games that I really like, and I still consider games that they are a better vessel to tell a story than a movie. And then continued to multiplayer games with my friends. And I'm a big Star Citizen supporter since day one, probably, since I probably heard about it a year after the crowdfunding was finished. Back then, I used to do Kickstarter campaigns, did a few big ones, had a few of my own projects there. So that's how I actually found out about Star Citizen, and I was always amazed and kind of followed through the story and what's going on with development since then. And then talking about what this video is about, the NFTs and the whole world of Star Atlas, which my first comment when I was shown Star Atlas about a month before their ICO, I saw their website, saw everything. My immediate comment was, this is going to be a much more funded Star Citizen, which has been a fail because they're already putting so much into how it's going to work without actually explaining mechanics, which I know are a lot bigger part of development than actually making up a good storyline for your game.
Okay, thank you for watching. That is it for today. And okay, so the next question will be: do you have any experience in the field of game development? So you mentioned that you did some CGI. We did some things
Yes.
together.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of CGI work, like purely CGI for trailers. I did a lot of modeling for different stuff. Nothing directly that I'm assigned towards. I was always outsourced in that part. I was pretty young in my career at that point. Later on, I did a lot of projects that are way under the radar, never came out, but I used to do work for SpongeBob SquarePants, Nickelodeon, which was an AR project. I did a lot of little things here and there that were pretty revolutionary for their time in game development. And I was always the one that was working with basically what people mostly hate is marketing, which is actually the most vital thing is finding funding to actually enable your idea to become a fully fledged game. And the
So
reason why people would
basically, you're the guy that everybody hates from like gaming communities.
I'm the guy I'm the guy that gives you the boner and the reason to buy things, and then later on you hate the person that owns the company, but it was actually my
Yeah,
idea that got you on board for them to hate you.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty much there.
All right. So you mentioned some experience in cryptocurrencies and NFTs. So can you talk about that a bit? Because
Yes.
like how much can you actually make, and what are like the downsides of the whole thing?
Currently millions, all downsides as of now. So yeah, I like look. What people don't get in the cryptocurrency world, I've actually like my first stint in cryptocurrencies was back in 2009. I was a kid, and I was the thing I loved most was sitting on my laptop as a kid that I bought from making money from my relatives in Canada working for them, and I was sitting online and always on forums and stuff like that. And I was always looking for how can you make money online without actually going down a house and doing anything, right?
Hmm.
So I actually found out about Bitcoin back in 2009 and asked my mom for 100 euros to buy, I think it was around 80,000 Bitcoins, which today would be a lot, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that ship sailed, right? And then later on in life, I never had I always knew that I would probably be mining or something related to cryptocurrencies, and I knew that it would change the world at some point, and they actually will. They're not even close to actually being used at the moment. So I always researched and followed along, but decided to get into it end of actually middle of 2019. So I actually had a lot of success in investing in cryptocurrencies. And then I went into mining a few different things. So I am very well aware of how proof of staking works, how proof of stake works, proof of time and space with Chia or Filecoin or whatever, and then how proof of work works, why something is more secure, why it's not. Like I'm not an experienced software engineer, but I do know enough to know what people are talking about when someone is explaining how things work, and then from there I can get like what's realistic value of things. And then I went into NFTs with a totally different project that's actually called VV with its own VV verse, which I actually do believe is going to be like a $10 billion company, considering they already have the licenses to like DC, Marvel, the whole Disney universe, Pixar, everything. Like they actually got everything, and they have like a guy who's actually really famous. His name is Al Khan. He's like the father of licensing, the guy who brought Pokemon. And that's when I really got into NFTs. Like that's when I started to believe NFTs are real. And then a year later, I got sent a link for Star Atlas, and then I kind of figured like Star Atlas was probably the first serious gaming project that I saw that like had a shape of a gaming project, like not like NFTs right now, because like right now you have all the downsides. Like there's no
Yeah.
game. Like the whole gaming NFT cryptocurrency thing, play to earn, is bullshit. Because where's the game? Like you have Axie Infinity,
I
which
mean,
is generating like $4 billion a year, and there's no game. You're just looking at two JPEGs, and then they have a small animation, which like a high school student can make in a day for
exactly.
like 20 characters, and then they like fuck each other, they reproduce. Sorry, they have like everything else, right? And then you get
This is
another
actually a
game
Christian
that
channel.
reproduce the same thing.
You don't use profanities here.
Yeah, I will. But yeah, I get really heated and pissed off because I actually made like when I got into it, I was like,
Wait. Before we talk about Star Atlas,
okay,
are you into any other game that's like based on like NFTs and cryptocurrencies?
well, all of them. I tried all of them. I
And
actually
what's your
paid and
experience?
made money on all of them. There's no game.
There's no game.
You're
Okay.
not doing anything. You're just multiplying, and then you have a bunch of speculators that don't know what the fuck they're talking about because there's no gamers in the space because
Yeah.
there's no game to play. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna
'Cause
find a gamer who's gonna be like, "Oh man, I'm really enjoying doing this for like 8 hours a day with my buddies." Like no one's doing that.
from
Everyone's just clicking buttons to make money.
from
Everything's
what I
speculation.
understand, people are there just to make money, and that's it. They support the
Yes.
project so they can make money, and that's it, right?
Yes, it's basically a Ponzi scheme. Like for example, X Infinity. That's the biggest one, right? So Axie Infinity dies the moment that you're not getting more money into the project
Yeah.
because there's only more and more of them. They're inflationary. So the only way to support a project is to get more and more players.
Yeah.
Because each two axes can reproduce up to 10 times. That means for each two axes created, you need to find someone to buy another 10.
Yeah.
Like some like right, like some get burned as NFTs, non-existent, blah blah blah. There's a lot of different mechanics from that to the central land to everything else. Right? Everyone has this great idea how it's going to be used, and I actually called you up thinking about a interactive movie idea which we were going to do as an NFT, but since actually stepped away from because I don't feel good not bringing something that I would enjoy myself. And if it's borderline here and there, it's not good enough. I think that it's a breakthrough technology. It's going to change everything we do. The games are actually going to become a way of life and living. That's for sure. Play to earn is the future of gaming for the most part.
Well, it was already with like World of Warcraft, right?
Live
Because like,
streaming.
yeah, and that too, yeah.
Since then, like right, you had tournaments from Call of Duty to Counter Strike. Like you probably remember Counter Strike. There was tournaments. I was 13 years old when I won my first 50 euros in a Counter Strike tournament.
Yeah, me
So
too.
there was always that, like, just imagine you can play games for 20 hours a day and someone gives you money for it, right?
I mean, even
And
in
a
Serbia,
lot of people
I
fantasize about it.
sorry to cut you off. I just noticed like yesterday, even in Serbia, we have like gaming channels like on our TV, like SC Arenas.
Yes, and you actually,
What the
and
fuck?
you actually have like gaming clans and teams
Yeah.
that participate. But no one's out there. Like you have, like if you want to look into gaming future, you look at Korea. There's
Oh, yeah,
nothing
of
about
course.
Korea. Like you have Faker in League of Legends, and he's godlike. Like Faker's a 20-something-year-old boy who cannot walk out of his house because they look at him like Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's not kids, that's everyone. That's the status that gamers are gonna be. Like people, like I remember like a bunch of my friends, right? Like I didn't used to have almost 100 kilos. I used to be very fit and actually a model in my spare time. But back then,
Me
I'd
too.
have my buddies, which were like 3 times my weight, and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Esport gaming? What's e-gaming? That's not esports. How can that be a sport?" I'm like, first of all, chess is a sport. Second of all, you're just watching guys run on a soccer field or a basketball court. You're
Yeah.
still not doing anything. You're like it doesn't matter. You're looking at for the spectacle. And considering that anything CGI based doesn't have like you can fly in games. Like things that
Oh. Hello.
people dreamt about, you can actually gaming. Sorry, I had a
Oh yeah, you cut off for a second.
give me just a second. Srećo. Aj, dobro. Pa ništa sad. Aj samo nazovi Macu, molim te, ubija me.
And that's Serbian,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's certified. I actually found out that my girlfriend is COVID positive, so that means I am also. So now all the family
Oh,
members
she
are
is?
calling everywhere.
Oh, fuck me.
Now all
Okay.
the family members are calling everywhere
Fuck.
to find out what's going on. Yeah, but it's all good. It's awesome. So anyway, back to the point. So yeah, gaming is the future, and gaming is going to be, it's already bigger than sports. Like, people don't realize. I do a lot of marketing, so I get a lot of research on and emails, and I know what the numbers are in gaming and what the numbers are in sports. So gaming is already bigger, but it's still flying under the radar.
Yeah.
Gaming is the future of all entertainment and all movies and all music, because we are moving towards a world where it's a lot easier to simulate things than to actually do them, and it's going to be a more immersive experience for the viewer.
Well, that's the main thing, right?
It's not, the market's global, right?
Yeah.
So,
and also, like, you can play a movie, but you can just watch it. Like, I was watching movies for the past 4 days, dude. Like, I love movies, but I'm getting bored. I gotta use my joysticks. I gotta, like, whenever I played movies before, because I didn't I was just doing music for a lot of years, and I wasn't playing games that much. I would just play guitar in the background so I can just practice, basically. And like, why would you even make movies anymore? I mean, that's a weird statement, because, like, what happens to fucking people like Spielberg and Martin Scorsese and yeah.
Oh, easily they're going to move into Unreal Engine 5 or whatever the version is. Yeah. No, but I'm serious. Like, what's going on with Avatar? We're making Avatar 2, 3, and 4 at the same time. We're just waiting for development. But Avatar, there's, like, it's not that hard to like, it's still a different way of modeling and doing things in CGI and games, right? But it's still a lot of man work it's going to take to make a good game and a good movie. So at this point, you're just allowing people to experience a different story in a different way in an interactive movie. And I tell everyone I know that's not a gamer, like, start small. Start with Firewatch. That's a 4 to 8 hour small short movie.
Yeah.
And you're going to get blown away. If you like romanticized drama, you're going to, like, I'm not going to swear, but it's going to be an amazing.
You can swear. Like, I was just kidding. Like, fuck is the word. Okay.
I know. I watch your videos. I'm just playing. You're going to shit your pants if you're going to play Firewatch, right? Like, if you like dramatized romantic things, you're going to love it. And then move on to Detroit Become Human, which is a basically best sci-fi movie I've ever watched. Like, you're putting input into the movie and you're experiencing the outcome. So that is the future of gaming. And what NFTs and cryptocurrencies bring to the table is the option for the whole world to actually enjoy, play, and get something back. Because at the moment, you know that by TOS with most games, you're not actually allowed to sell your things, like in-game items in most games. You're not allowed to resell your game. You're not allowed to this and that. Games are becoming, games are going as games as a service rather than games you actually own, right? Like, you pay a subscription, you get all the games online for free. So cryptocurrencies and NFTs actually do have a way to change that. And I think that's a really great impact, but we're nowhere near that yet. But it is something that's going to have a positive outcome, but not in the short term. And short term, I mean a few years.
Right, so
at this moment, there's just scams.
On that topic,
scams, and you're going to lose a lot of money.
How much did you invest in, like, all of the games that you played by now? Approximate games, or a lot?
Games like cryptocurrency games. There's a difference.
Games and then cryptocurrency games.
So my PS4 library, and I play my PS4 about 8 to 10 hours a month.
I'm not talking about, like, just straight up buying the game. I'm talking about, like, buying skins
I'm figuring everything out, because I have, like, a subscription for the Battle Pass in Rocket League, and I have a subscription and a Battle Pass for Warzone if I'm gonna play it on this and that. So probably around 2,000 to 3,000 euros a year. I spent on buying and then paying for, like, different battle passes, different in-game items. I love to support anything that's creative. I'm not going to spend a single dollar on a game if I don't consider it good, even if it's popular. I quit playing Warzone for the sole reason that there's no game focus anymore. It's just, how do we shuffle enough money out of this? I probably played Warzone, let's say, for example, first 3 months for free. Then in the first month, I started paying since I liked it. That was before all the cheaters. That's when they actually got with like they fix the bugs with the helicopters flying through the ground, shit like that. And then in the fourth month, I probably spent like 150 euros on it because I like the skins. They got a size skin Serbian police. It doesn't have a realistic flag on the suit though, but it does say Psy in Cyrillic. So I was like, yeah, like these guys are doing research, they're actually trying. Like whoever did this had to sit in front of an executive and pitch him an idea about like Serbian special forces. And I get the reason why you take a Serbian flag out. Like we're not very well liked around the world, but still, someone had the balls to be like, yeah, let's not make all these skins that everyone else is making. Let's make a side skin. And I appreciate the gesture and the time of people taking those things. And I know that it requires not just time to do, but balls to push in front of an executive, because everything at the end of the day comes to a person that's not into gaming. If your IP is older than 5 years, you're going to be answering to an executive. And that's a big problem in gaming. Like all AAA games are now based to pump out as much money as they can in the fastest possible time they can. And then to actually destroy the game so they can shovel another one.
I mean, yeah, in the same engine and everything.
Yeah.
So
gaming probably 2,000 euros a year on different spending, buying in-game items with the games I play. Cryptocurrency over 10K.
So that was the next question. How much did you spend? So that's 10K a year or 10K total?
10K total cryptocurrencies in the last 8 months since I started. 9 months.
How much did you make from that, if anything?
Around 4 to 5x. So 40 to 50.
Okay. Did you pull it out, or do you just have it on your account? Because like it fluctuates, right?
No, I'm just pulling it out and investing into the different cryptocurrency projects.
Okay, of course. All right, that's actually good.
So
You're smart.
I pull it out, but I actually like the reason I only made 3 to 4x and other people made like 30x is that I'm well aware there's nothing behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know how hard it is to invest money and make 20% a year profit. Like I do own businesses, so I know what a 30% ROI, how big that is. And then knowing that I got away with like 300 to 400, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to sweat my balls for like 2 days and 2 nights if it's going to fall down. If it's not, it jumps up quickly. I sell it because I don't actually believe in it. I'm just aware of the marketing value of it. And then I shovel into other cryptocurrency projects that I do believe in. That I see that there's actual development, that there's knowledge behind it, that there's an actual white paper that's actually supporting stuff. There's actual mechanics of how things are going to work, or at least that there's a base from which someone can build out. And then I do have an understanding to see and to judge with higher percentage. Like I'm not perfect. I missed. I probably lost thousands of euros into nothingness with projects that never went anywhere. But my profit at the end of the day is 3 to 4x. Like it would be higher if I didn't lose, but no one's perfect. But obviously, I do have a good sense to judge when a person maybe when a white paper is lacking something from a cryptocurrency aspect game, and then to see if that person is judge them properly to see if they're capable of understanding it and fixing down the line something that might be an issue.
All right. So how long are you a Star Atlas supporter?
Well, I'm not actually a supporter. I'm just a moneymaker in Star Atlas. So a few weeks or maybe a month after their initial project went up. That was before the hundreds of thousands of followers. That was before any marketing. That was before the trailer that you showed. That was before the polished website that exists now. That was before everything.
The website is fucking crazy, dude.
The website is amazing.
Yeah.
And I said it. The moment I saw the website, I knew that they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah, that's how it works.
There's a difference. That's the difference between, like, you can make something good looking, but it's still not going to be that well done if it's supposed to have like an anchor in reality of game development.
Oh.
If you're just throwing buzzwords out, you can make a website like that, right? So, for example, look at any game that blew you away ever. It never had marketing material on that level on day one.
Yeah.
The project that mostly looks like that is Earth 2, which is another crazy big concept that we know that we don't like. We're not even talking about a company. We're talking worldwide. The whole planet got together. We cannot fucking simulate that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have double 3090s in my PC right now. I cannot simulate 1/10 of what they're thinking of putting in that game in fucking development for preview on my end, let alone a running game that's supposed to run it.
No, but
So
apparently that thing should. Well, we don't even know what it's gonna be. Like, is it gonna be a strategy? Is it gonna be like a top-down game, or is it like what is it gonna be?
Well,
Is it just gonna be Google Maps like it is now? And you have tiles.
Yeah, well, you got Google Maps right now, right?
Yeah.
But Earth 2, what it's promising is basically 1-to-1 scale
I know.
simulated Earth for everyone, which is like that's not doable.
That is not.
Like, I
doable.
love when I love when I see people that have fire in their eyes, right? Like they want something big, they want to change the world. I love that. I support that. I'll spend my
course.
money even if I lose it with people like that. But when I see people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, using buzzword after buzzword after buzzword after buzzword to shovel your money out of your pocket into theirs, I feel that's coming, no matter how big the idea is. Like there's a difference between like Star Citizen, which is taking a shit ton of money from people, not under delivering, and then there's a difference with Star Atlas, which is like let's pump out concepts without any mechanics in there. And then when we get $1 billion to $2 billion, which is fucking insane, and then they sit down and like, okay, so what are we gonna do now?
Yeah.
But that's how most things are done right now, and I don't think people understand that. Like you have Anthem.
Well, yeah,
Anthem
but
as a game didn't have a concept or like a direction until like a year before it came out, and it was 3 years in development. And $100 million burned, and they didn't have a direction. They didn't know what the game was supposed to be. And those projects are the most profitable because if you don't know where it's going, you can make the concept art look as like however you want it to look.
And you can make all the promises you want to.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's something. That resembles the current state of Star Citizen, but at least Star Citizen has something to offer right now because like there is an actual product, and when you buy a ship, you can actually go into that ship. So that there's a difference. By the way, I don't know if you knew this, but like Earth 2 developers have hired a bunch of like new developers that are like known scam artists from like
I followed it along. Like that project was even too risky to try and make money, even though I actually started reading up on the page probably in the first 2,000 followers they had on any social media, and it was so scammy to me that I didn't even want to risk the money. Like I knew there was going to be some money to be made, but I just couldn't judge how big it's going to get. And considering that that's a pure scam, you never know when someone's going to dump. Yeah. So that's a 1-through-1 rug pull scam dump, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
like they covered all the bases. Like they can scam you, they can rug pull you with their coin, and then they can fucking dump on you with all the things that they can recreate and take away. So it's just a scam, and people are what? Yeah.
Like in order to like you can give them money, but I don't know if you saw the procedure. If you want to get your money back, if you want to sell shit, or if you want a refund, it's just fucking like you gotta email them. You have like you gotta give them your address and all of your fucking like social security numbers and all that shit. Yeah, it's just crazy, dude. Like Jesus. So anyway,
but look, I'm in a project that you can put money in. You can get a product that's purely digital without any use case. That's Vivi and Omi. And then you cannot take the money out. There's no way to take out the money yet. But the difference between those people and these people is that those people are actually well-known collectors with big licenses. And that they actually sit down in their AMAs and they're like, look, guys, we can give you your money. But the thing is, there's no legal way to do it globally. And we're probably going to face repercussions, which we don't want. This is a slow-paced development. We're going to make it there. We're going to be the biggest, but we're not going to risk everything in order to provide something that's not capable of being legal. Like you cannot call up your bank and be like, yeah, I want to refund these people for something that's not even legal to actually own or have, or there's a legal representation of it. And on top of that, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and everything alike is well discussed in tax circles, like with IRS and everyone else around the world. And we just don't know how it's going to work. And everyone that's actually giving you a way to get cash out, that's going to be a big headache down the road, if you ask me. Because, like, if things change, like, a lot of big games are just going to die because it's going to be easier to, even if it's a good one and it's based on cryptocurrency, it's going to be easier to shut it down than to go through a few years of legal battles to see if someone's going to bankrupt you or not.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a big problem. And I think people are understanding that because people never had a situation where they were trying to do something that innovative that it required like a special person in an IRS of that country, or like whatever it's called in the special country, to actually investigate it and help you out figure how things are going to get in and get out and without you breaking any laws. And that's the part I hate most about this world, is the bureaucracy and everything else. But that's the thing. If you want to have it safe, there's going to be a lot of paperwork. If you just want to fly and be free, you're going to face a lot of repercussions and be scammed easily.
Yeah. All right. On topic of scams, how much did you invest into Star Atlas? And like, what did you buy? Like, how many ships or like supplies or food or whatever?
No, it was just coins. At that moment, they were running their ICO. So ICO is basically an initial coin offering, which is basically selling you. You're basically investing without using the word investment.
Of course.
So investing will require them to give you shares, which you're legally bound to own, and then there's repercussions to them if they don't have it, like if they don't do something to the deal and those shares that goes along with it requires. So ICO is basically minting a coin that's going to be used for some way, like one way or the other.
Yeah.
And then they shove out money from that, and then they make the project like doable, right? So it's basically a crowdfunding through a token that has no value.
Is that
So
the
even
same coins that you earn by playing the game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's two different ones. There's Polis and then there's Atlas.
Okay.
And a buddy of mine sent me both when they were in ICO, and you were basically paying 1/10, I think, of the. I'm not sure what the current price is. I stopped following. I already pulled my money out, but it was like 1/10 of the price a few days ago when I was talking to him, and that's the price you were paying. And then you get, depending on what tier you got in, or they actually had two different platforms for the ICO. Depending how you got in, are you going to get all the coins right away? Are some going to be locked? Blah blah. Depending on the country, this and that. So I didn't get into the ICO where the biggest amount of money is made, but I told him right away. Like, he called me up when the ICO went through, the coin launched, and he was something like, he invested I think 500 and was up 15,000 euros. That was his profit. I think somewhere around 12 or 15,000 euros at the very top. And he's like, "What do you think I should do?" So I go in, I check, and I see the market cap is fucking $4.5 billion. I'm like, my guy, like, this is like, they can buy Activision at this point. Like, we're already talking about buying Call of Duty as an IP. Like, I would get my money out. Like, it can go to 100 billion. It's crypto. There's no value in it that you can actually evaluate. But if we try to evaluate it, that's maybe $1 million or $2 idea that you might develop in a few years. And we're talking about $4 billion. I mean, I would get my money out. And then he didn't want to. I can't remember the exact news. Something bad came out. The price, of course, plummeted like 75%. And I was like, wait, like, this marketing is too good. Like, they're capable of making a great website, a short trailer. They're going to pump out more things. Like, obviously, there's more meat on the bone to suck off. You can make more money. So I knew they were going to release something more. I see the price plummet, and I was like, "Fuck it! I know there's a 99.99% chance that that game will never go anywhere away from like a 2D clickable numbers on a screen."
It
But
still is. Like,
yes,
yeah.
and but at that point, like it was that, and I was like, "I'll just buy 500." I had some USDT tether that was sitting around. So I'm gonna just move it around. I'm gonna buy some coins, and I'll just wait for the next trailer. Like, my guess was there's 100% chance that another trailer is gonna drop. It's gonna be a lot better because I see that there's skill in making good CGI, so they're
Of
gonna
course.
use it. And I just waited and saw that 5x in about 6 hours after a few weeks, sold, and then never looked back because I don't actually believe in the project. So I went through the whole white paper. I tried to find the game within the game. So where's the game, right? Like that's the biggest question. Like, if I see a gaming cryptocurrency project, my first question is, what's the game? Where's the start? Where's the middle? What's the end? Is it multiplayer? What's the reason someone's going to keep playing that game? So in the description, they were vague enough to sound exactly like Star Citizen, but not detailed enough that you can have any expectations of what the game is actually going to be.
Yep.
And at that point, I was already like, even before I invested, I was like, this is probably not going to go anywhere because the project is just a bunch of concept artists doing CGI, which is nowhere near game related, and it's not transferable to a game, and so it's not going to work that way. And like, I didn't stick around or put my money into it, or do I trust it? The names that are tied to Star Atlas don't do like anything for me. I don't think any of those people have proven to be capable enough. Like, I might be wrong. Like, this interview might be viewed like 10 years later, and people are gonna be making fun of me. You know, like, look at these guys shitting, and it's like a $1 trillion
Dude,
game.
that would be fucking amazing because I want games like that, dude.
Yes,
It's fine.
and that's what I want to say. Like, I'll be the happiest person ever to see a game like that succeed.
Yeah.
My opinion is it's not.
But it's like question mark, like what? A game like what? Because we still don't know what Star Atlas is gonna be. I mean, we can talk about Star Citizen. Star Citizen is gonna maybe.
Star Atlas is supposed to be Star Citizen with play to earn features, which is reasonable if you think about it. So the whole idea about play to earn, like the initial idea around it, is that, like, how many hours did you spend in Star Citizen? What, hundreds, 1,000? Yeah.
Probably 1,000 by now, maybe even more. Like, a whole year, pretty much every day. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, we already know that games can be funded through different types of skin launches that are purely cosmetic, like League of Legends, right?
Yep.
Like, you just have certain skin, that's it.
Overwatch,
and they make,
or whatever, yeah.
Yes. Ton of money. So, games can be run from that profit. And then imagine, like you told me, like we were talking, and I told you that I was already thinking about Star Citizen for a long time, and you were like, "Yeah, you just buy a ship from them." Well, imagine if I bought a ship from you, and if I bought everything that I needed from you, and then money goes towards you.
You can still do that. You can still do that. There's a gray market on Star Citizen. It's called Star Hangar, and you can, but like, there's
a gray market.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you just said. That's a gray market. What NFTs and cryptocurrencies will allow, because anything that's pegged to cryptocurrency, like cryptocurrencies, has an inherent problem. Like, it started as a decentralized thing that never wanted to be recognized by big players, banks, IRS, or anyone else. Yeah. Now it's big enough that it has an issue that the only way it's going to move forward is to actually be like recognized by those same institutions that they hated. So if you peg your game and the whole system of making money in it with cryptocurrency, like if you peg it to it, like the same moment cryptocurrencies solve the legalization problem of them, you get the legalization problem of your market solved. Like, that's a big deal. And I don't think people understand how hard it would be to run a market where there's sales and resales of different items in game around the world. Again, we're talking about globally. The majority of the world doesn't live in the first world country named America or Europe.
Yeah.
So that's where the money lies for most games. And you can have a game that's going to work in North America and maybe Europe that's going to have a market for resales of items, and it's going to be somehow like legalized and working. But to have it for the whole world, that's not going to exist. Like cryptocurrencies are going to fix that faster than regular legalization or a company that's gonna try to fix that on its own.
So you think like this is a bit off topic. So do you think that like Serbia, being a third world country, is gonna adapt and adopt cryptocurrencies
yes,
as well as like USA or France or whatever? Because like
faster.
faster?
In third world countries, you have two scenarios. You have a country that didn't recognize how big cryptocurrencies are going to be, so the big players didn't make money. Then you have other third world countries like El Salvador and Serbia, which recognized it, put money into it. Like I'm just gonna say so no one comes for me. So there are stories floating around, and a lot of people in a lot of high places invested a lot of money.
Yep.
Some can be confirmed, some can, so it's all hearsay. But the reason that Serbia is going to do it and is already working on it is because they need it for themselves. They don't give a fuck about me and you. They don't care if our games are going to work or are they cryptic. Like, they don't give a fuck. But we're going to get
by the way,
this
we're
system.
not talking about our government. Continue.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
So, yeah, so they're going to push it through. Like, there's already a plan. There's already an initiative. There's already a crypto bank in the progress for a country like ours. Like, you can see El Salvador. El Salvador is like you cannot get a lot more third world country than El Salvador. That's an image that you get besides the word third world country. And they actually have Bitcoin as legal tender. So you have two versions. One is a country that didn't recognize it in the time, so they cannot profit. They're going to ban it at first. Then you have other countries that are not going to ban it. They're going to actually adopt it because it works for them. And
I was talking about like regular people, like you and me, or like, as I always love to say, Chaslav from Chichevats or John from Wyoming. So is he, do you really think that he is going to be that deep into like the internet and then like cryptocurrencies and mining and all that?
No, that's what people don't understand. People don't understand how things become mainstream. Like, I had a touchscreen phone 4 or 5 years before the iPhone came out.
Mm-hmm.
I probably changed 6 or 7 of them before iPhone ever was an idea.
Yeah.
But when
there was a bunch of them, like HP, Sony Ericsson, and what was the
Ericsson? Yeah.
I had the HPs and the I forgot the name of the fucking. I think the company died after that. Never mind.
Doesn't matter. HTC, for example, was one of the first companies to push it and try to make it mainstream.
Yeah.
They failed. I had a HTC Athena X750 and an X7500, which actually sold for double the amount of money I paid in Canada for 4 years after I bought it, because there was no way you could get it in Europe. Yeah. And then people were always offering me money. I was like 18 at the time, 17 when I sold it, because it was really old and I just kept it for I liked it. But yeah, until the iPhone came out, whenever people saw me using a touchscreen, they were like, why? Like, you can't feel the buttons. What are you going to do with this? Like, what are you going to do with it? It's so complicated. What are these folders? What is this? What is that? Well, then someone comes along and makes it a 2-button thing, and it's better than having multiple buttons on the screen that you have to push, and then everyone jumps ship. So it's exactly going to be the same way. Like, you already have a way, if you're in a first world country, most of them, to buy Bitcoin off of PayPal. You have applications. You don't have to know shit about anything. You click a few buttons, you own some crypto. The moment when it becomes as easy as that, that's the moment that everyone's going to jump ship and realize how better it is. Like, not again, I'm just going to defend myself from future comments. Not all crypto is the same. Not all projects are the same. Not all problems are the same. Not all countries have the same problems. Yeah. Not all banks have the same issues. Not all processes in the banking have the same issues. With me working from Serbia, then getting payments through Germany, Japan, America, UK, and whatever else, I know how hard it is to get money across, how expensive it is to send money to a different country. So crypto is changing that. Games have that inherent problem. Like if you sell someone an item, let's say on eBay, there's a lot of transfer fees you're going to incur depending on where you live and where the seller lives. Then there's a lot of tax questions that no one answered until yet. And until now, no one's going to call you for like a $500 skin that you sold if it's a one-off thing. But if you're selling $5,000 every month and earning a living paycheck out of it, well, then your like tax office is going to call you up and be like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" And you're like, "Well, I'm doing this new thing," and they're like, "Well, we don't have it in the paper, so you're going to pay the highest tax tier there is." And then you're like, "Well, why would I do this? I'm giving more money away than I'm earning." So yeah, that's everything's really closely tied together at this point because our system is not so advanced. But in the future, yes, it is like it doesn't matter. Like maybe Visa will have their own cryptocurrency tied to their own credit card. Like they're not gonna like
Probably, yeah.
they're already implementing crypto in it because it is a faster, more secure system, like the blockchain, than whatever Visa has. Like people don't understand that. People are like, yeah, well, Visa has like 40,000 transactions in a second. It does, but it's actually like there's a layer one and layer two in crypto, and then there's a difference between those and how fast they move. In the real world, like Visa pushes 40,000 numbers across a second. So if you pay something in your supermarket, there's a half a second to a second delay until she gets a notification your account has money. For someone to check if your account has money, you're going to pay some interest to the bank that holds both or one of the let's call them wallets or bank accounts at this point. In crypto is slower depending on what cryptocurrency we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But in crypto, the moment it actually comes to you, it's your money. How a bank does it, again, it really like I'm gonna say this again for future comments. There's a difference. In some countries, they actually transfer the money to your bank. In some countries, the money gets transferred as a number. The banks then get a certain number of days until they have to meet in the middle and see who owes who what. So the moment you transfer that money let's say I sell you something and you get money on PayPal. Well, PayPal is not giving you my money. PayPal is giving you their money. That's why they're taking a fee.
Yeah.
You can instantly spend it, but that's not my money. That's some other money that they had on the side. They are going to need a few days to get that transaction across and to actually move money from a place to place or to your bank account from my bank account until it's actually settled. So crypto is going to solve that and is going to help legalize any gray market in the world of gaming. And inherently, all the items in games are going to rise a lot higher in value. Again, certain games, not all games. That's what people are mistaken. People are jumping on Star Atlas. They're jumping on Axie Infinity. They're jumping on Decentraland. They're jumping in all these fucked up projects that have nothing going for them, thinking they're investing in a game. There's no game. There's no assets in it. There's no playability. No one's going to use them in 2 or 3 years from now. You're throwing money away, and the only way you're going to make money out of that is if you actually pulled out a profit. If you just have it in that and there's a number saying this is how much it's worth and you didn't pull it out, you don't have it.
So your suggestion would be basically just to wait for another trailer or gameplay video and then pull your money out, just like don't invest in.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
okay. So would you
like my honest opinion is if you don't like the first thing you need to learn in like I started investing in gold. I invested in and we talked about this before, luxury watches. I invested in my computer gear and moved on to mining hardware. So never invest the money you're not willing to lose. Like not meaning like it's gonna go down, like 100 euros is gonna become 50. No, like 100 euros is gonna become a zero, buddy. Like I had 1,000 euros in 6 seconds become 12. I also had 100 euros become 2,000 to 3,000 euros in a day. So there's a difference, but that's a risk. I can lose 100 euros and nothing's going to change. Like it's not going to change my life at all. People go into it thinking that this is the right time and it's 100% certain they're going to make money. It's not. Like if Star Atlas falls enough to a point where it needs to 20x for you to get your money back, no trailer is going to help you. You're going to be stuck there for months trying to pinpoint a situation where you're going to pull your money out. And I invested in Decentraland, which it doesn't even market itself as a game. And I'm not sure if you know what that is.
Nope.
Yeah, don't even fucking Google it. There's nothing there. But believe it or not, they were actually selling plots of land in a 3D environment. The 3D environment looks worse than GTA Vice City. Like
Of
GTA
course.
Vice City is like 8K compared to that. So they were selling plots of land for like millions of dollars. And I invested in the central end thinking, let's see where this goes. So at that point, I wasn't even thinking about gaming and possibility of games within the space, but I invested. And then I was stuck on other projects, doing my own work, investing in other things, following other things through. And then I had 2 days off, and I was like, I have a lot of cryptocurrencies that I don't know what the fuck I invested in. Let's go one by one, read up more on it, and then cut the portfolio down to something I can manage and actually look look over. And then I got onto Decentraland servers and I was like, what the fuck did I put my money into? Like like I invested like 800 euros. I saw it go to like 2000, then went down to 200, then back to 800, like whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is gonna explode one day. And then I go into it for the first time, actually like trying to use what I invested in. And I was like, did I just fucking put like an amount of money that for me a few years back would be like, wow, I got a lot of money into this? I was lucky enough that I did all the research a week before the Central Land exploded, and then I actually decided that I'm going to be cutting my portfolio down in 2 weeks when I get another round of investment from my own income. And that the Central Land actually exploded like 4x from there, so I pulled like almost 4,000 euros in profit. I was ready to sell in being in a negative position just not to be in it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I was ashamed that I put my money into it, and I think that in a few years' time, like the only reason you're gonna be maybe proud that you invested in it would be like this is one of the first things of its kind. So you can say I was I knew that there was a future in it. Other than that, you're probably gonna be like very disappointed in yourself that you actually supported a project like that. And
But
that's basically like that project isn't even promising anything. Like
but
that's the first one.
but still, is that a game? Like is
No,
that like exactly like you? The only thing that you can talk about those kind of games right now is that there is no game, but there's like a marginal like what's it called? Like you may make a profit of it, but you probably lose money, and that's it.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. More
that's not
people
gaming. Like
lose money than lose.
why are people talking about like why are gaming channels? Why is my channel as a gaming channel talking about this? Like
There's because there's so much money in it. It's very simple. Like
yeah,
whatever you put a lot of money into, people are going to talk about it because our whole lives are spent around this idea of money. Like money isn't something that generates organically. We need to put value to something so we can barter instead of like barter. We're going to use money, right? So uh, that's the reason why things are exploding is because people are speculating. We like just for example the US dollar because it's the most influential as it pegs every other currency to it. They printed 60% of all US dollars in existence just in 2020 and then another 30% of it in 2021. So you have all this money coming into the ecosystem with people sitting around their house not knowing what to do. And then you have at the same moment you have gaming exploding. You're seeing games going from having a few million players to being amazing to having 100 million player base in a month, which is fucking insane. Then you have the PS5 system being like sold everywhere and it's sold out. Xbox, new GPUs for both mining and gaming. Like
yeah.
gaming went mainstream at the same point crypto was exploding, and at the same point there was more money in the world than ever everywhere. And then the culmination of that is people having all this money sitting around thinking, well, like I'm not going to do anything with $400, but I heard this guy invested 400 and became a millionaire. I'm just going to try and change my life. And at this point, they're just speculating and gambling on it.
Yeah,
But
that
people don't
basically
see,
never happens again. Like not with that
yeah,
cryptocurrency.
yeah. But like right now, like what people hear other people know what they're talking about, talk about potential profits, and they see Bitcoin at $1 trillion. market cap, and they're like, well, what if this game hits $1 trillion market cap? Well, there's a difference. Bitcoin is trying to, like, worst case scenario, it's a store of value as gold is. Gold has a $10 trillion market cap, and the investment part of gold is what, like probably around 2 or 3 trillion. So if Bitcoin just does what gold does, but better, that's easily a $3 to $4 trillion evaluation in the future. So that's a 3 to 4x for almost certain in Bitcoin. And then you have like Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, whatever, XRP. They're all trying to play major banks, but even bigger than that, they're trying to go and do all the payment systems. And what people don't realize is that there's a lot more money in derivatives than there is in actual pure cash. And those markets are hundreds of trillions of dollars worth. So for Ethereum to reach 5 trillion is not something that's out of this world. It would just still be doing what other things are doing in this world. It would just generate the value. But if you don't have a game and it's worth 4 billion and the best game ever's IP is worth like 15, then there's a problem. Like if Ethereum does 3 trillion in market cap, it's still nowhere near the biggest transaction system this world knows. And it's better than the one that we have right now, even if it's one of the worst cryptocurrencies to actually use as a transaction basis. And then that won't still be a lot, and that's 6x from here. And then we're talking about games where Call of Duty invested probably $2 billion in the last 10 years in game development, and then sold over 10 to $15 billion in game assets in game. And then you have Star Atlas, which is like $4.5 billion market cap at some point, and then you're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And you have to be realistic. There's around 100 million people around the world today. Like that's going to change. That number is going to go way up in the future. But right now, you have 100 million people willing to play games. Out of those 100 million people, like we're rounding numbers. This is not something you're going to be Googling and be like, oh yeah, that's exactly the number, because it's just an estimate. But like hardcore gamers, you probably have around 10 million. Like actual gamers that are not just playing something because of the game in that era or period, but are actually gaming for a gaming's sake and enjoy it as a hobby. And you have to figure like how much money do those 10 million people have? Like they don't have an infinite amount of money. They have a finite supply. So, and they cannot play 20 games all at once. They can only play one. So you have to like devolve those 10 million really active players onto all the games. But all the games are based on whales, right? So for me and you to be able to play a game and spend only $50 or nothing but $100, there needs to be a person that's probably spending around $2,000 to $3,000 easily a month in that game. That's how those games get funded. And people don't realize that is that me and you and a lot of us with $10, $20, $50 don't make it happen. The guys showing $5K, $10K for in-game items are the ones making the shit happen.
Yeah.
They're mostly the profit margin. They're the biggest part of the profit margin. And that's what these new gaming companies are doing. They're just hunting those whales. And those whales are usually both in gaming and crypto people with a lot of money. And they come from the same world, business and everything else. And in gaming, they need to be gamers, but in crypto, they don't need to be gamers. That's why there's more money.
Yeah,
because you don't have gamers, you have everyone else.
Yeah, like I think that like Star Citizen is one of the first games. It's not the first game, but it's one of the first games that exploited whales on some level.
Yes.
Yeah.
They fucking dried them. Yeah,
I mean, obviously. Obviously.
I love looking at the numbers, and when I saw Star Citizen's numbers, I was amazed.
Yeah.
Because that's a pre-alpha game. Like that's I mean, wow.
It's actually an alpha. People are calling it a pre-alpha, but it's like an alpha since 2011. And like I have it on my screen right here, like 3.5 million Star Citizens, 427 million funds raised from
Yeah.
That small of a fucking community. It's just amazing. It is just amazing.
Yeah.
But like with cryptocurrencies, you can get even fucking more. And you're completely right. So for the ends, I don't want to hold you any more longer.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I think you wanted to talk about NFTs and what they can actually do for games. I think that's the major part that we missed.
I have two questions. First question, so we can like close up the Star Atlas talk.
Yeah.
What would you like? Okay, Star Atlas on the side, but like, what would you look for in a game or NFT thing, cryptocurrency thing that's funded as like Star Atlas? What would you look for that would like give you, that would encourage you to buy it, to actually buy into it? Would it be like a demo, an actual playable demo, some gameplay loops inside of it?
No, because you're not going to get that out of a ICO in cryptocurrencies. Not at the moment, but I'd be willing to actually invest money and believe in the project if I saw that there was people who had, the people running the show had some experience in actually developing the game, and then they actually had a white paper that actually explains how the economics and like, it doesn't need to be exactly the same when the game arrives, obviously, but they need to have a grasp on how the economics of a game can actually work. With the first, like the first thing that they're focusing on is the game, and then the economics come on top of that. That's the thing I think I need to see in games to be able to invest the little money I have. But first the game, and then economics on top of it, which I think Star Citizen has. It has a great economic system within it, which is just amazing, and it's so perfect for NFT space to actually evolve within it. That, I mean, it is because if you start reading back from like 2015-16 how people imagine NFTs in games, a Star Citizen would probably be like a 99% match for what you need to actually start an ecosystem with NFTs.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't like it to happen. I wouldn't advise CAG to do that, or the developers. But okay, let's talk about it. Like for the end, let's talk about why do you?
Why not? Why not? One question from me to you. Why not? Why are you afraid of NFTs being in, let's say, Star Citizen?
Well, any like cryptocurrencies or NFTs or anything. By the way, I'm interviewing you. That could be like, with all the fluctuations, it just like goes. It takes away player from the game, and you gotta think about like how am I investing my money? Should I pull out now? Should I buy something else now? If it's like, if it wasn't fluctuating,
it doesn't have to. Again, you're just basing it around the hype that's currently, like, this hype is gonna go away, and things are gonna settle down, and they're actually gonna be usable things. But there's no difference between the gray market that you talked about in Star Citizen and if they would NFT it. The only reason why NFTs would be good is that an NFT can be a smart contract, and they would need to develop it on their own blockchain. But you could actually employ people legally through NFTs in different contracts where they're automatic. You cannot get scammed. You have safety from it. And like, at the moment, it would gain value because an NFT is a buzzword.
Okay,
but NFT
how...
is not supposed to be a buzzword. It's not supposed to inherently add value to something that it doesn't have value. Like, if there's a $300 ship that you bought for $300, an NFT would only be there to prove how much you paid for it, then track how much it was used over time, how much it can generate, so you can sell it on to someone else. Let's say you bought a mining ship, right, in Star Citizen,
Right.
and you say this mining ship can make, I don't know, 10,000 of something a week. And then someone else comes along and says, well, there's a video and it says it's only 2,000. Well, an NFT, which would be a smart contract that's tracking that ship and updates how much it was used, you could actually see how much if it was used.
If it was a pay to earn, if it was like a play to earn game, yeah, but it's not.
Right now it's play to spend, and the only thing that's that's not there
But
is
but you spend the
already
in-game
legal.
currency. You can buy all the ships with the in-game currency.
Exactly. You,
But like
you should be able. Like,
with the gray
the whole
market,
idea around the NFT space is that you would only spend the in-game currency. It doesn't need to be a speculative thing. Like it's gonna settle down over time. Like when gold started to be an investment choice, it was fluctuating like hell. Over time, over use, over people actually using and understanding it, is gonna come to a point where it's not fluctuating anymore. The only thing that's fluctuating is how usable the item that you bought actually is and how good it is. But the NFT is just there to be a security and to track your progress with it, to be able to actually verify someone's ownership of it. Nothing else. Like, what's stopping me from telling you I have a ship in Star Citizen that I'm willing to sell to you for $500? How would you go around actually knowing if I have it?
well, the only thing you can do is ask for a screenshot of your hangar on the website, and that's it.
Exactly. And you know that I'm a master at Photoshop, so I can Photoshop that in. I can Photoshop 10 of them probably, and you won't notice a difference, and you would probably think I was selling 10 of them.
Yeah,
But,
well, I never bought things off the gray market of Star Hangar. I know people that did, and they never had any issues. Maybe because the other guy was fucking great, but maybe because there is some kind of a, well, not a failsafe, but like if you do something bad, you get banned and you get sued. Maybe. I have no idea. Maybe.
yeah, well, that's the thing. There's no
I hope so.
way for-
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like you, for a digital asset that I'm not legal, like it's not legal for me to sell to you. You can't actually sue me because in the first place it wasn't a legal thing to sell. So you should know that you're buying an illegal asset. So you would also face repercussions depending on where you're at. So that's the thing that NFTs are going to bring. Like it's going to be a crazy wild ride, as with anything else. Like remember your first iPhone. Like people are paying $20-$30 for an app that uses your gyroscope and you can pretend to drink beer out of your iPhone. Like that was a crazy time. I mean, come on, that's fucking insane. Like, people are spending thousands of dollars on their apps, but now it's pretty normal to have most of them for free. To have really good ones and everything else. So every market after time, it's gonna fluctuate, and always the volatility is the highest at the beginning. But that's because there's the most amount of money to be made. The only thing you need to do is bet on someone who's capable, and you're probably gonna end up a millionaire. Like imagine if you could have bought Star Citizen in-game currency, and there was a fixed amount of it, and you bought it for a crazy little amount. You would probably be a millionaire right now. And that's the reason why everything is so speculative, because they're not aware of how much things can actually be worth.
Yeah.
That's why you see a $100,000 ship.
The thing is, with this model that we have right now in Star Citizen, when you play enough or spend enough time and do enough bounties or enough mining, and you buy a ship, you only have it in the game. You don't have it in your hangar. It's not a ship that you bought with real money. So, okay, it is still an alpha, but eventually when it gets released, that ship should be yours forever. And there's more talk about there's Chris Roberts, the main guy over there, has an idea of doing a death of a spaceman thing, when after 5 respawns you would lose a lot of shit, and it would be transferred to your next of kin, which you would play, right? You would play as that guy, but you would probably lose some stuff. Which stuff, we don't know. How are we gonna lose ships? We'll see. So that's like it's like we still need to see what happens with that. But basically, whatever you earn in the game, you only have it in the game, and you can't sell it to anyone else. Currently, maybe you will be able to sell ships in the game, because in one of the next patches we should be having player to store selling of items and stuff like weapons and shit like that. But I'm not sure that they're gonna go down that route that you can sell ships to another guy. So sell your NFTs ship to another guy, which from what your perspective I would completely understand, but
Well, you need to be able to look at the positives, right? So right now, what you said, you buy the ship and you own it forever. You don't. It's a centralized thing. It's on a server. If they switch off the server, you own shit, buddy. Like no one owns
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
anymore, right? So the people they jump on this NFT like buzzword train and they're like, well, you're just buying a link to this thing. In most cases, yeah. In most cases, people sell an NFT as a fucking link to where your image is stored, and then if they move the image or the model from that link, you just have a dead link that
yeah.
you paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for. But in realism, you can actually link certain things, models, certain memory capped items on certain blockchains that are developed specifically for that on certain blockchains. That would give you actually the capability of actually owning it, taking it with you. Doesn't matter. Like if you just know the password where you store your game stuff, you'll be able to access it from anywhere. There's no Sony. Like you know that you can't actually own a Sony PlayStation in Serbia, right?
Really? I've never had one, so I have no idea.
No, you can
You rent
you
it,
can buy
right?
it, but no, but you cannot use a Sony subscription. Like you need a Sony subscription to
Mm.
use to play any game online, but you cannot buy from Serbia.
Wow.
There's no way to buy from Serbia. Even if you go to a game store here in Belgrade and you actually buy the little cards, they actually sell the cards in US dollars or UK pounds or European euros. When you go to log in, you have to log in and lie to them that you're from like US or
Yeah.
UK or wherever, because there's no Serbia to be logged into. Same thing with Apple iOS until a few years back, or a year even back, when they actually got in. Well, crypto and being something being decentralized is what gives the power to the users. So let's say they, instead of like you talked about server meshing and servers, imagine if in a near future you're aware that the graphics cards are becoming more and more powerful, CPUs as well, RAM memory is becoming cheaper. So at some point, like you're already, if you have a mid-tier gaming setup, it's already a lot better than a full server grade node from like 6 years back.
Yeah.
It's already running faster. It might not have the memory caps and everything else. Like I have servers here, like actual ones I use for rendering for both CPU, GPU, and I have the ones with like a terabyte of RAM. I have ones with like 42 terabytes of pure memory, depending on what I'm doing, or if I'm mining or whatever. But you can already build computers that they're exponentially becoming faster and faster. Like we had a point where we kind of stopped in development, and then now it's continuing. So at some point, there's going to be with especially with meshing on servers, you're going to have a server that you can run as a node in your home. So you turn on your computer, you run a game, and a part of a server could be based on top of your computer. So then the game kind of like the game devs don't kind of have like they don't have the risk of running their own servers, so a lot of money can stay with them. But they can also not use it as something as right off in the end of the year. They cannot use it in like development practices, things like that. But that will give you a way to play your game for forever. As long as there's two of you or one, the game is forever saved and forever has a server. The more people it has, the bigger the server could be. The way it is now is that the servers are very centralized. So the game studio runs it, and you're very well aware of old servers that died with still hundreds of players playing it. Like there was, I can't remember which game it was, but it was like
All of them,
they shut down the,
Matrix, Star Wars, Galaxies, all of them, like all of the
but
big.
there was this one game in particular I saw a video about, and the whole idea was we're killing the servers, and then the moment the server reaches zero clients, like zero people playing, it shuts automatically off for forever. And then a whole crowd of people got onto this one server. They kept it running for like months. They had to
Yeah.
be 24/7.
I think it was.
in.
I think it was
And
Matrix.
I can't remember what it was, but it was some crazy long time, right? And people were just trying to save something that they liked. Like
Yeah.
I have friends around the world that I met through games, and they're probably better friends that I've met in real life. And the future is definitely virtual. So like there's real connection and emotion. Like people might laugh at that, but you cannot underestimate the power of a friendship if there's common interest, like gaming.
Yeah.
So if they turn off a server and you didn't pick up my Discord name or whatever, and there's no way to talk to me, we might never see each other again or talk to each other or whatever. And honestly, that's going to be a bigger and bigger problem in the future, and people are going to get wrecked with their virtual friends and the games they love, and it fucking sucks. Like, I still like to play around and pop up StarCraft from back in '98 in an emulator and play a game or two, or Age of Empires. Even though there's a new one, there's a remake.
Yeah,
There's still some retarded value within my brain that I really like to see that, and then click a few buttons and be like, well, this was shit, but still I want to play it. The reason I can still play it is because you can still own a CD, you can still port it to a USB, this and that. You cannot port a server to a USB. So something of a cryptocurrency like decentralization is really needed in the gaming community for gamers to actually enjoy the things that they have in the future.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen anytime soon, though. Like
10-year tops.
10 years. Well, by then we should be having like more. Well, yeah, maybe we should be having like more and more advanced technology, like what's it called, like quantum computing, and all of that shit.
Like quantum computing is such a leap that it's not even a thing. Like, even if quantum computing comes, it's very specialized at this moment. So even when it comes, it's going to be a long way before it can be used in a similar fashion.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like, why wouldn't there be servers with based on like quantum computing, right?
Well, that far in the future, exactly. I'm all for it. I'm talking near term. I'm talking next few years. I'm talking, again, when I say a decade, I think tops. So 2030 for me is the maximum that I think is going to be reached before we see a mainstream game. It's probably gonna go for an indie studio and then turn into a AAA IP over time. That's gonna have that type of how it works, the type of server meshing, everything else, the nodes, everything else, the economy within it. It's probably going to be crypto related because it's really hard to transfer a certain currency like dollars or something else. So that's probably going to come within this decade easily. And then the first time one does and actually succeeds for longer than a few months of being a buzzword, everyone else won't have nothing to do except copy.
Yeah.
Like, look at games as a service. The first time you saw renting games, everyone was like, "Oh, no one's going to use this." But then they didn't have anything to do, and they were like, "Well, yeah, it's going to be free." And then Fortnite was like, "Well, we're going to give the full fucking game for free," and it's like massively played, and we have all this support, and the servers are running pretty good. It's not a pretty good game, but we have all these building mechanics that are pretty complex to master. And then people were like, "Yeah," and then it exploded. Same as League of Legends. You had Dota, which you had to pay for, and then you got League of Legends, which was free. And people were like, well, this is like a knockoff of Dota, but look at it now. And then the moment
I mean, I know a guy that like spent like 6,000 euros on
Yeah, well, you always have people spend a lot of money on it, but the way that you get things for free is you get them as a service, so you don't own them. You don't own League of Legends. You download it, you install it, but there's no way to interact with the game except for playing it online. As I know, I'm not a big League of Legends player, but as I know, like Fortnite either, you can play Fortnite and the whole experience is based around you playing on their servers.
Yeah, and then Fortnite started, as far as I know, Fortnite started with like a zombie mode or something like that, and then they changed it to
Well, they were really fishing in there with both game design and mechanics. But what I think set Fortnite apart was the building mechanics. They're very complex for anyone who has never played Fortnite. I got shit on by like probably 4-year-olds. I'm just kidding. They're probably 7 or 8. They were pretty young. They shit on me, and not because they're better like players than me, aim wise or shooting wise, but because I didn't know how to build. I never played a game that was supposed to be building and shooting at the same time. So those kids just boxed me in a box and kept boxing me in until I quit the fucking game. And I was like, well, okay, I'm a grandpa now, obviously. I'm not meant for this. But it is challenging.
But it's the same thing. Like, okay, we are going like way off topic, but like it is the same thing with I played Counter-Strike 1.6, what was it? The last one that we played like back in the 2000s. Six. Okay.
Before Goal, yeah.
So it's free. At least I found like a clan that has you know what I'm talking about, like KGB clan. Yeah. So I played it 4, 5, 6 years ago. It's with a famous celebrity here now in Serbia, Kia Kockar. You probably know it. So she called me to play with her, and she was on the other team. Dude, I got wrecked by her and by fucking like kids, and I was like, dude, I was amazing, and I'm like, I still have all the like to wedge in my fucking mouse, and I can aim at heads, but dude, they were pre-aiming, pre-firing, knowing all the fucking pixels you gotta aim at to throw a flash and all that. I was like, dude, no, I'm old. I'm so fucking. This is not for me. Just give me like Star Citizen or something like that.
Yeah, but again, like to each his own. But yeah, but definitely, like what those games have is a different mechanic, and they have a marketing value. Like the most important thing, why I'm capable of adopting other like different businesses and how they work and understanding it, and then adopting the culture, and then having expectancies, and then actually evaluating and then guessing, and then working with, and blah blah blah, this and that, is because the marketing and marketing value is the most important thing about a project. Like if it has marketing value, it doesn't mean it doesn't have real value. It actually needs real value to have marketing potential and marketing value. But anything that has its marketing potential long term, it's probably going to be successful, probably going to be big. And what NFTs are going to fix in the future is that you're actually going to be able to play the game for as long as you and your friends want, instead of a server being ran by a company which is like, well, we don't give a fuck about 5,000 of you guys. Like, that.
From my perspective,
and that needs to happen.
I will stay away from NFTs until I see how it works when we do one or two or a few. And like before that, I would not ever invest my money in any games that have like any of those mechanics. That's my opinion, at least.
And NFT is a pretty grounded thing to say, right? So you can have an NFT which is just a link that's proof of ownership. You can have an NFT that's programmed to track certain stuff in the game. You can have an NFT that has a life expectancy, so it dies after a while. So you can basically program it as a different program. So it cannot be altered because it sits on the blockchain. And you can, in theory, you can reverse a blockchain, but no one's going to reverse a fucking blockchain because of your one little asset you have, no matter how valuable it is. Because blockchains runs trillions of dollars a year, or at least a few billion each in transactions a year. So no one's gonna like reverse it and roll back a blockchain to fix like a few $100 that you missed. The bad thing about it is that you're going to be all the bad and the good comes to you. So you have all of your rights, but also you suffer all the consequences. If you lose your NFT, no one's gonna refund you. No one's gonna mint another one. So, but it's a pretty cool thing because kids are coming into the gaming space younger and younger, so they actually learn to care for the things they like. You get to have a proof of ownership, track whatever you want on the ship, and actually confirm how much it was used. It's actually going to allow, for example, if you buy a ship and you keep it in mint condition and you have another one that you never used, it's going to grow in value if it was a good ship and everyone else used it. It's going to have a nostalgic value. So, for example,
like relic guitars, maybe.
Yes, exactly the same way, right? Because let's say you play Star Citizen for the next 20 years, and it keeps developing, whatever. Well, I hope they keep developing it for another 100. To be honest, like even if it comes as a final product,
at this speed, but if it was faster, then
definitely. And then imagine playing for 10, 20 years, and you're like, oh, I really like the ship. Like, with this ship, I did all of this, and then, like, there's nostalgic value to it. But let's say your ship could be wrecked, could be too used, could have, like, dust samples on it and shit like that. It makes it ugly, works slower. Like, they cannot do that right now because even if they did it, like there's no value. Like, it's not going to return once all of these ships die. No one's going to keep them stored or
Exactly.
whatever. Or if you will, being NFTs and you actually having ownership is what's gonna allow something that's not used in the game actually gain value. And at first, it's gonna have a lot of negative things with it. You're gonna get ships being sold out in seconds, needing to pay thousands of dollars to get one, even if it's not worth that, because you're gonna get a lot of non-gamers that are gonna be just buying to hoard them,
Yeah.
which is very bad. But trust me, they're easily gonna run away the moment that market doesn't have enough money. And no market in the world has infinite money. If it grows too fast, it's gonna hit a cap and it's gonna fall back down. And then it's gonna taper off and have a normal life expectancy and mechanics to it. So it's gonna be volatile, but it's gonna be good in the long term for gamers if it's implemented well. The moment an indie studio does it well, or a AAA one, but I doubt it because they're run by executives who care about numbers and profits, not about games and you or me. The moment an indie studio does it because they need to do it, things are going to change, and then we're going to have a whole new era of gaming. And living and playing in a virtual world will be possible for people. You will be able to run everything you need sitting there and playing a game. No matter how idiotic this sounds to some people.
So there you heard it, boys and girls. Earth 2 is confirmed.
Something like that. Yeah. But more games, obviously. But people are like, well, someone needs to bring you food. And I'm like, well, yeah. And if there's not a lot of people bringing food, then trust me, people are going to be making a lot of money bringing food.
Yeah.
And then all the gamers are going to be like, why the fuck am I grinding 20 hours a day to buy like a tomato? I'm just going to go and sell 3 tomatoes and buy my own house. Like the market has its own tendency to like kind of fix things between itself. The less people actually try to influence it, the easier it's going to be afterwards. So yeah, there's definitely a future in it, and you can make money out of it. If you're not well versed and like ready to lose money, don't go into it. If you have an item that you really want and it's an NFT, and you would already be spending the money without it being an NFT, then buy it. It's just better because it's an NFT. It's a buzzword. Don't let anyone lie to you and say that there's something more to it. Most of the NFTs are just a centralized like website that runs just a URL behind it, and you just bought a URL. But like, do your own research. That's one of the most important things, and understand what you're buying. But it's not as scary as it seems. But you will be able to, same as in the real world. Let's say, imagine if you could rent out one of the best guitars in the world to play for a few days. Like, you'll probably do it, and probably someone already does it. Probably someone has a whole collection in a studio, and that studio costs a shit ton of money. So in order for you to go and play on these crazy instruments, right? So that exists. Why shouldn't there be a ship that's awarded to like the best player in this certain aspect, whatever it is?
Well, that's what like World of Warcraft did, right?
Yeah,
World of Warcraft had raids and shit. Yeah. Well, like, without the NFTs, of course. But you could sold those like on, was it Gray? I never played it. Was it like Gray Market where you sold those?
It was just
I know a guy.
Forums and blogs where you just post like I'm selling this. And then someone needs to trust you because there wasn't anything else you could do from Serbia. You couldn't use eBay or any other website that was even remotely capable of selling a thing like that. So you were just basically posting on the blog like you send me this amount of money and I'll come here and give you this, or you give me this amount of money and I'll give you a username and password, and then it was a really sketchy transaction. Yeah, but I think
I know a guy that sold his character with like some swords and shit for like 8,000 euros, which is just amazing to me. Like 10 years ago, 7 maybe. So
and then there was the guy that actually traveled to Japan and killed the person because the person scammed them for some crazy sword.
Dude, do you remember the stories back in the day when like Quake 3 Arena was a thing? Like, there was like so many in Japan. They stabbed each other for like for the gamers, of course, for like killing each other. I know of news article. I'm gonna try to find it to show you afterwards. But like a guy stabbed another guy because he like in what's it called? Igraonica. What's it called?
Yeah, well, it's a LAN place to play games.
Yeah,
A
LAN play.
party.
Yeah, LAN.
Yeah.
Whatever.
LAN gaming center, whatever. Yeah,
whatever.
I don't know.
So a guy stabbed another guy because he stabbed him in Counter Strike because he like knifed him from behind. Like what the fuck, dude? Yeah, people are just strange.
That just shows how people are like really into games, and like it comes with its uglies, right? But it comes with like stories. Like I have a buddy of mine who actually got married 2 years ago to a girl he met playing some stupid game. I don't even know what the name of the game is. He really liked it. It was some sort of builder type game. And they met there. They probably played around a few hundred hours before they even added each other on something personal. And then 2 years later, they both moved to Holland and married each other.
Amazing. That like it's the same with me. Like the org that I'm running with my friend. Like, I basically see him as family. Like there's at least 10 guys there that are really good friends to me, and I am
exactly. Yeah. That's what games build, and that's why games should be ran by people that actually play them and not the people that make them. Like they can still like I'm not against like making profits. I'm just for people having the freedom to play what they want for as long as they want. And like I was playing, I don't know if you heard about this game. It's called Ingress. It's made by Niantic for your smartphone. It was what Pokemon Go is laying on top of. So Ingress is basically a geolocation game with AR. And you go and destroy these portals. All the portals are linked to either historical places or things like that. And the player base is around 35 to 40 average. The amount of money we were spending traveling Europe and playing that game is fucking insane. That's not the money Niantic was making. There's like there's these like things that happened. That was for a year and a half, and then I can't even remember what's it called. But like every few months there was anomaly. I think that's what it's called. And then a few hundred or a few thousand of us gather in a few cities around the world. There's only a blue team and a green one. And we play for 24 hours who scores more points in portals. The cars, the motorcycles, the hotel rooms that these people pay. Like there were guys buying $100,000, $200,000 boats going in the middle of the fucking ocean to just take a portal to cover half the European port. Like, it's fucking insane. I used to spend, like, we had a grind. Like, I would be setting up for, like, 10 days, making a strategy, who's going to go where around Serbia just to cover a certain space. That would just, in gas, cost, like, 400 euros for, like, 8 people. It was, like, fucking insane. But that thing developed, like, the people I was playing with, one of them is a former director of SBB Telecommunications in Serbia. She lives in Israel now, and she got a kid, and she's supposed to come actually visit in a few weeks. Like, I would never have met her if it wasn't for that game. And that game is a perfect showcase, I think, if you want to see how a game that earns so little can make people spend so much. And the game that does not be like incentivized to make you spend on them. Like they don't have their hotel, so you pay them and then they book you a hotel. Yeah. Nothing like they just organize it. It's organized by the community, for the community. It makes dollars, obviously, and makes a lot of money, but nowhere near anything you heard of. And it's still a game that requires thousands of euros if you're going to be good at it a month. And being capable of like walking 10 to 20, 30 kilometers in a day in certain events.
Which would be probably good for us now, right?
Oh yeah, like I used to do it when I didn't need to do it, and now that I really should be doing it, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna play Minecraft and clicking buttons.
Yeah, but seriously, like with all the COVID here in Serbia, it's just like, oof. How you doing, by the way?
Well, I'm pretty good. She's pretty good. She's watching TV, so.
All right.
I think we're probably going to be good. Like, she already went through the hard part. I didn't get any symptoms, so we should be good in 2 weeks.
Nice. Right, so for the end, do you have anything to say, anything to plug, anything to whatever?
No. No, I saw like I'm a really big fan of your channel.
Thank you.
We knew each other from before, but nothing special. But I'm a really big fan, and I like everything that you've been doing, and I'm gonna continue to support it. And I think it's an amazing place to gather community because you're actually building your channel on top of a real thing that you really love, and I think that's amazing. And that's the only reason why I offered to do this with you because I would be
Thank you.
proud to be a part of what you're building. Because if I could invest, I would. If you had a cryptocurrency, I would buy it.
Well, you are over Patreon, right?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm old school, right?
And then I could sell it.
Yeah. Maybe at some point, maybe you're going to tell me how to do it, and maybe we will do it.
Yeah,
I
it's,
have
it's
no
actually
idea.
very simple. It's a cool way. Like you don't need to actually exploit your crowd. You could just mint a few NFTs, and it costs little to no money to mint them, and you create artwork piece that each of them could get for free now and be rewarded for being a part of the community. So no intention of making a profit. If they ever resell it, you can put 5% or 10 or 15 or whatever you want that goes back to you. And then if you ever become famous for doing this, or doesn't mean like famous, like millions of people famous, but if a lot of people follow you, there's probably going to be a bigger fan than us that's going to be watching you 24/7 through all the old videos you made, and he's going to want to be a part of that community, and he's going to buy it off of someone who's already here. So it is a great way to reward your fans in a little tiny thing that you can make.
We will talk about that off camera because, yeah,
No problem.
I still have my doubts about the NFTs. I'm still like, I'm not sure. All right.
I actually delved into it and mint my own for Christmas. I awarded my clients that I liked the most with 6 NFTs, and believe it or not, only one of my clients is 50 years and older in the U.S. and nowhere near anything big city, but a huge company. And he was the only person that actually had the crypto wallet, and it was like, I'll send it to you. You can send me the NFT. And I was like, shit. I was like, that's the only person on the list that I was sending it to, thinking like this guy's not even gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about. And he's like, yeah, here's my crypto wallet, send it over. I'm like, nice.
Yeah, I don't even have a
This is
fucking.
really awesome way.
I had a subscriber that asked me to like give him my crypto wallet, and he would just send me some bitcoins, and I was like, I don't have that. Like, I may make one. I don't know.
You should, because there's a lot of like, we need to be honest about this, and there's a lot of people with a lot of money in crypto, and that's not on paper, and that's not taxed, and they're not gonna pull it out of crypto because why would you spend good money, right? Like a lot of people have a plan, same as I do, is to hold a lot of crypto and then just borrow money against it. Same as with the bank. You're gonna go to the bank, you're gonna say, I own this house, I need a credit loan or whatever, and they're gonna give it based on how much you earn and how much the house is worth if you're taking a mortgage on it or whatever you want to do with it. There's a few ways depending on where you live. So a lot of people in crypto that have a lot of money and are willing to give it away because it's nothing to them. They were paying cents for that, and now it's worth a lot. They're okay with giving it, but they're not going to pull it out and let the country know of their crypto wallet or whatever, but they would easily send it to you. So I know a few stories of people that actually tipped a lot of people in crypto in really big sums today that were just like, just give me your crypto wallet because I don't have any cash. I'm a millionaire on paper and crypto, but I don't hold it. And actually, I personally know a person who's around $4.5 million in crypto. That's his worth in Ethereum. And he's living in a rented apartment and working for an 800 euro paycheck and not giving a fuck about life. He never took a dollar out of it. He just diversified just to be safe that it's going to hold some value.
Yeah.
He invested around 400 euros back like 5 years ago and then started mining 6 years ago. And his plan is to never sell. And he could easily, like, he even helped me, like, I had an issue with some transfers, and then I couldn't get to the bank to deposit some 250 euros to cover some fees for transactions. And he's like, yeah, here, I'll send it to you. I'm like, well, I need to give it back to you. He's like, bro, like, look at the amount of digits I have on my screen. I won't even notice that you sent it to me. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm like, awesome. Even though that's like 1/4 of his pay, but it's just a different mindset in that way. And yeah, I think you should have it, and I think you should allow people to donate to you in that case, in that way, and help you out and help the channel out and help the community grow. And then when taxes come and the IRS, Serbian IRS comes knocking on our door, well, if we need to pay anything, we'll pay. Or as the famous investor Michael Cera would say, well, I lost my crypto in a boating accident.
Oh yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm planning on doing that once I get a new PC, because I'm going to have a 3090, and it's probably going to be mining on the off time. Yeah.
Well, it should. It should. And you should do it as fast as possible, because it's not gonna be profitable for a long term. As soon as Ethereum turns ETH 2.0, it's not gonna be mineable. Other coins are probably gonna soak up the value, but you're still probably gonna make some profits out of it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
I'm gonna call you on that, and yeah, once I get the new PC, we'll talk.
No problem.
All right, thank you for being a guest, the first actual guest on this channel. And
thank you very much for hosting me. I was more than glad to come in and talk about it, because I love your channel, I love gaming, and I'm especially fond of cryptocurrencies and investing. And then the two worlds merging is just a dream come true for me.
All right, thank you. That's it. That is it for today, guys. Goodbye, and don't forget to bring a towel when you're traveling through space. You want to plug it? you want to say it?
I'm good. I'm not on that level. I'm not on that level.
All right, I'm just gonna stop recording now.